Hey, I'm Michael Doneger. I wrote, directed, and starred in the film.
I'm Michael Lynch, and I shot and produced the film.
And that film is called This Thing with Sarah.
I can't go over there. Wait, but why can't I go over there? She invited me over for birthday cake. She wants me there. I'm her friend. That's what friends do. This is my present to her. Let's go. It's fine. We're good. When I come back, full of cake.
Hey.
I'm here for the cake.
I know. Think of it as our breakup sex.
I thought this was our makeup sex. God, I miss her. No, I don't. Yeah, I do. A lot.
You're in really bad shape.
Going out the breakup here. It's universal sign of depression.
What if I told you that there was a surefire way to get over her?
Go on.
Rule 1, no texting, no sexting. Rule number 2, burn everything that reminds you of her. Rule number 3, find a rebound.
Hey, you here for a lesson?
This could be a rebound.
Someone that you can have a physical relationship with, no long-term commitment. I'll do it.
So she volunteered for this?
It's weird, right?
I gotta start dating Australian chicks.
What are the ground rules, like, sex-wise?
Okay, definitely, I'm not a whore. We'll go to a movie and we'll see if we even enjoy each other's company. Are you asking me to have sex with you right now? You think I'm that easy?
No, there's nothing easy about you. So where does this go from here?
There's no reason to make this complicated, you know? It's just sex.
This girl, she's just a distraction.
And I think I'm in love with you.
What? We have rules to this relationship.
This thing with Sarah.
And you feel like falling,
I don't want that to end.
I'll carry you home tonight.
Yeah, I'm not gonna kiss you tonight.
No, right.
Yeah, this was the first film first feature film that I'd written, directed, acted in, and it was a story that, I wrote the script in a few months and called this guy right here, and I was like, hey, you want to produce a movie with me? And we did it on a very shoestring budget, and shot it in, I think it was like 12 principal days, a few additional shoot days, probably total to be about 20 days, and then a year and a half of post-production.
But what he didn't say is we only had 2 weeks of pre-production. So we had
Right.
2 weeks to cast the film, budget the film, schedule the film, and bring it all together. And, magically, Field of Dream style, when you build it, they will come. We were able to get the great cast and get a great, crew involved. And a big part of, I've done a lot of projects that I think was interesting. The way that we've done this is no matter how well you produce a film, I like to say making a movie is like being in a car, and the director is driving the ship. He's literally holding the steering wheel. And no matter how well you produce it, you're in the back on a laptop. You tell him to take a left turn.
Only an automatic though. A manual. I can't do a manual. That's why you're there.
If the director crashes the car, it doesn't matter how well you've done the paperwork. You need to have a good director and a strong DP and good actors. Otherwise, everything goes to shit. So I think what we did in this film was we didn't focus on having a giant crew. We focused on having only the people that we absolutely needed on set. Like, we didn't even have a wardrobe supervisor. We just, some days on set it was me, him, the actress, and a boom guy.
Right. And some days we had a crew of 10 or 15. And on the days that we had, just 3 people, because Mike was literally holding the camera, I'm directing and being in the shot, across from Amanda Brooks, who plays Sarah in the movie, or Wes Chatham, who plays my best friend in the movie, and sometimes those days would be probably, I think, some of the better scenes that we had, because it was kind of just more of a close-knit atmosphere, and I think it really just allowed the actors to just relax, and we didn't have much time. We were shooting 8 pages a day, but just having a smaller crew really just made it seem like it was just kind of like, hey, we're just kind of here to do it, instead of having the pressures of a whole crew watching you. To be quite honest, I mean, like Mike has so much more knowledge than I do in the technical aspects of all of this stuff. So, and he's lighting the shots and he's holding the camera. So, like, I trust Mike with all of that. I tell Mike, hey, this is, handheld, maybe put it on sticks, like this is how we'll frame it. And then, that's kind of how we did it. And after the first few days, I think we're just a little tough and just trying to figure out kind of the language between us, how we were going to do it. But by, day 3 and 4, we would just kind of had a shorthand with each other. Hey, Mike, yep, shot looks, the frame looks great, and let's go from there and play back. And if we had to, shoot it again, we'll shoot it again.
Yeah, I was watching dailies every night. So since we did all the post in my house, in my facilities, so I would literally watch dailies every night and give him my feedback. And that way, if there's something that he wanted to do, I would articulate it in a really brief fashion because we're on set and we needed like getting 8 pages a day. Just tell him like what I felt was working or not working. And one thing that we started doing early on after watching the dailies was, okay, let's get the close-ups first, and then we'll do the wides. But normally people like doing the wides, then going close. But for us on our tight schedule, it became more important to get those beautiful close-ups first, and then pop out and get the wide. So we learned some stuff like that we started doing. Because there were some days where we shot 8 pages in 4 hours because we had this like bar set that like the bartender let us shoot for free, but they only had that small amount of time that we could use. So we really had to be very quick on set. And we shot the whole thing with a 5D or 7D. We shot both.
Yeah, I think it's the easiest thing. No, I'm kidding. It is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Directing yourself is by far it's because
He'd look at me and see if I was impressed. If I wasn't impressed, he'd be like, all right, we're going again.
Well, so I'm acting across. Say you're playing Amanda, I'm acting with Amanda, but I have to be in this scene, right? So emotionally, I have to be there. But then I also, as the director, I also have to be like, is she doing a good job? Like, what did I like? What didn't I like? And I mean, Amanda did a great job, and that's the kind of luxury of having really good actors, is that you just kind of trust them. What was tough was, again, going back to pre-production, we only had 2 weeks. We got our actors kind of 5 days before we started shooting, so we didn't really have that trust in the beginning. But as shooting went on, that's when it just became easier, and our jobs became easier. But yeah, to answer your question, it's directing yourself is the hardest thing, and then when you watch in the edit room, you're just like, oh. Did I really do that?
Yeah. You know what? The actors, it's a concern the actors had at the beginning too. They're like, it's just you guys. You guys are wearing all the hats. I'm like, yep. And I think the good thing was when we did a lot of the meetings, we went together to a lot of the meetings. So we kept showing like, no, we're gonna do it. A good united front. And I think at the end of the day, what anyone wants to know whenever they sign up in any project, whether it's this or some of the bigger projects have done, they need to know that the team making the movie have a good conversation between them and they're a good united front. Like a good happy marriage.
Yeah, when we first got Amanda and Wes to come on board, I remember we took them out for dinner or drinks or something. We're just like, hey, you got to trust us, and they're looking at me like, you've never written or directed anything before, like a feature before.
And they look at me like, you're trusting him?
Yeah, right. And Mike and I had never actually worked together. We just knew each other. We were friends, but we were looking for a project to work together on. And this became it, and we were just like, all right, we're going to do it. And we convinced them, and so they really deserve a lot of credit for trusting us, because, I mean, here actors don't want to just be in anything, they want to be in something where they're going to trust a director, trust a producer, that, they're not going to look stupid, right? That's very important. And so we think we owe them just, a tremendous amount just for trusting us and allowing us to kind of control how they are going to, be presented on screen.
When Doneger approached me to do the project, and he said how small our budget was, at first I was, I'd done Burden, I did all these other projects, I worked for Paul Hunter, so I was doing these bigger budget things at the time. And, that movie at the time, Monsters, had just come out. And remember, they lied and they said their budget was $15,000 before it got revealed it was $500,000. Right. And I remember when he told me our budget, I'm like, you know what? Screw it, man. We'll do it. I'm a filmmaker. You're a filmmaker. We're going to make this happen for the budget we have because we're filmmakers.
And the funny thing is that, like, when we started, we our budget was very, very small, but we started with, like, a bigger crew from day one. And then as we started to figure out how the film was progressing and where to go from it, we started dwindling down, from our crew and just kind of figuring out what we really need, the essentials. And at the end of the day, performance is number one. You know, you need one hell of a cinematographer to you know, and that's what Mike was able to do. And then the rest was, you know, directing and producing. We're just kind of like, you know, we just kind of did it. I think it worked out. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it worked out. I think it worked out really well. You know, we did a lot of test screenings for this movie as well, since it's a comedy, and the test screenings really helped us shape the film a lot and see where the strong parts were and what wasn't working. And you know, again, the whole process. I mean, even when I was working in other movies, I would come home and we were still editing the project at my place. So, you know, again, it was a project that you just see how much heart and passion gushes from it, and any of the flaws that it may have, everyone who's seen it forgives it for the passion that you just see oozing from. And it's really funny. It's a funny film. People like have big laughters throughout the whole film. So it's a really fun project. I've alumni. I've had like I think 4 or 5 films at this festival, and what I noticed is that this festival loves writer, director, actors. And Doneger being the writer, director, actor, I thought this would be a great festival to really promote him. Because at the end of the day, when you are promoting the film as a producer, you need to make sure your actors and your director, they're the talent, they're the stars of the project, that they get promoted properly. And I feel that this festival embraces writer, director, actors. So I feel like unlike other festivals, this was a great one because they really want to break stars out. You know, Doneger being an up-and-comer coming out, I just felt this was the best platform, especially for our world premiere, to have our writer director Michael Doneger, actor, get out there.
Everything but editor.
Yeah, because at the Q&As, I noticed every year when I came to the Dance with the Films, their Q&As, they always were more enamored with the writer director actors. So I just felt like this is a great place for him to get a lot of attention and really get noticed. And Dance with the Films has a lot of great press. They always have Variety and Hollywood Reporter and
FilmSnobbery, yeah.
They had ABC 7 out last night, so they always have great press. So I just feel it's a great place to get noticed when you don't have giant names in your film.
Yeah, I think that's probably the coolest part about it is in the spirit of indie film. You know, all these film festivals back in the early '90s were really promoting true independent films with, you know, up and comers, and now they're kind of oversaturated with, you know, stars. You know, stars they're doing their big projects, and then they're doing their smaller projects because that's where the meat and potatoes roles are for them, right? So they're kind of doing that for scale or for nothing. And so those are the films that are getting promoted at Sundance and all these bigger film festivals, and so that's why we think this one was a perfect fit for us. And hats off to Mike for, you know, being an alumnus here or alumni. Alumnus is singular.
There's a lot of films that have got great distribution that came here. I forgot Go For It by Cameron. She got distributed by Lionsgate when, you know, she won the grand prize here. So I just feel there's a lot of films I've seen here that have gotten great distribution as well, and that's what we look to do. You know, we look to see this thing with Sarah get a great distribution because it's a really funny romantic comedy that both men and women enjoy.